What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim back with another product review. Actually looking at two separate products today, both from Play Vital. One is the Night Edition black and white two-tone anti-slip silicone cover. And the other, which I'm really interested in, is an aim assist target precision ring. And I'll get into both of those in just a minute, but I want to say up front, I did receive these as a review copy. If you are interested in either of these products, I will post a link in the description box below where you can check them out for yourself. So I'm a big fan of silicone covers for my DualShock controller and my DualSense controller now, actually, for my PlayStation 5. And the other controller that I had, the other set of silicone covers that I got were grips that only came on the sides. So you had a single grip here, a single grip here, and then the middle part was exposed. And I liked it because it gave it a little bit of a bigger feel to it. Definitely absorbed some of the sweat in my hands. The only issue I had was that at times it felt like, I guess because of me like torquing on the controller, the grips did have a tendency to kind of slide back and forth. So I said, hey, do you guys have anything that's like a single piece? And my questions and my prayers have been answered. So this is actually really cool. It's got it's a single, basically a single piece now. So you're gonna have to, and I'll horse this through and I'll post the video in the second part of it. But this is a single piece, so there shouldn't be as much slippage. It feels almost identical to the other one. It's got some extra grips here on the front face. It's got a cutout even for the PlayStation logo there. It also comes with a pair of caps, which I love as well. So I will mock all that up and we'll take a look at that after the jump cut. The other thing that I'm really interested in is they sent me a pair of these aim assist target control rings. Okay, so basically when you open it up, you guys can see inside there's a pouch of just different rings. Now these are like little foam rings, okay? They're just pieces of foam, honestly. They're little circle foam cut out. There's different colors. The colors do represent the tactile grip. So here is the black one. I mean, this is incredibly mushy. This is like almost like something you would get like in a foam packing. Very light, very mushy. On the other end of the spectrum, you have yet another pair of black one. This is more like a rubber gasket that you would put almost like in a sink or something. This would almost be like used as a washer somewhere. This is a lot tighter. It's a lot harder for me to squeeze and bend down. And what these are meant to do is help you with your aim on your controller. So I've talked a lot on this channel about how when you are trying to aim, the nice thing about a thumb topper, especially those that come out farther, is it adjusts the angle of which you have movement on. So the longer you are away from the controller, the more finesse you can have movements because you have more of a kind of an angle to play with, right? Pretty simple concept. Same reason why like a longer pull controller gives you more feel as if like a throttle in a game. Well, if you're playing a game where you're shooting or moving around, the longer the stick, the better you're going to be able to move. Well, while there are some solutions, which I have talked about before, that actually extend the control stick, the issue with those sometimes is for people, when you're holding the controller in your hand, the taller the stick, you are going to start pulling your wrist here. You're going to have a lot of, if you have it like one of those like control freaks or something, you're going to have your controller way up here when you're moving around. And I gotta tell you guys, after a while, that is gonna definitely start to hurt your wrist here. You could just almost feel that tendon kind of like pulling. So what these guys came up with, a slightly different solution, is they said, okay, you're gonna use your standard controller. The difference is you're gonna put some tension on the actual stick with this ring, and I'll just go ahead and throw one on now just so we can take a look at it so you get kind of an idea of what I'm talking about. They came up with a slightly different solution. They're going to say, okay, this is what you're going to have now. You're going to have a grip on the bottom. And what that's supposed to do is, while this one can move freely, right? I can move just like a normal, this is normal tension here. This one, when I hit against the foam, it's a little tighter. It's harder to push here. I'm using more force to push here than I'm using to push here. Now, Why do you care about force on your controller? You say this isn't a workout, right? No, clearly not. What it's going to do though is it's going to simulate exactly what I just said. So it's going to be more finesse for you, and it's going to be harder for you to push in a certain angle. However, the idea is in doing so, it's going to limit your movement. So instead of looking at a target like this and moving your analog stick wildly and you're going to overshoot something, the idea is something like this is going to cause a little more tension, so your movement's going to be slower. Now, a lot of games do offer this, and I will say that this is a very common problem. One of the reasons, honestly, why specifically I'm going to pick on Resident Evil, why I have such a problem with Resident Evil is they have an incredible tendency for this kind of mouse acceleration. Obviously, it's with an analog stick, where if you push the stick just slightly or a lot, your character can almost do like 360 spins, or it'll be a lot slower spin. However, it's still very dependent on how hard you push the stick. That's the acceleration piece of an analog stick. I use the word mouse acceleration because it's exactly what it is in consoles, or on computers rather, where you have this mouse acceleration piece. Now, on a controller here, while there are settings for sensitivity in terms of overall, how much does the stick move to move your character, and that's a common thing. You could have like low, medium, high sensitivity. It doesn't really correct for that acceleration piece. So if you dump a stick all the way to one side as opposed to gradually move a stick another, and that's where this product is supposed to come in and make that a little bit easier. There's a lot to chew through here. There are a lot of rings. I'm counting them out now. I have, my gosh, I have a lot of sets. So I'm gonna have to go through all of these. Like I said, I got some that are really, really tight, some that are super, super tight, and then I have these that are like mushy all together. And what I'm gonna do is spend the weekend, honestly, going through all of them and letting you know if it's something that's worth your investment or not. So do a quick jump cut here, and I will give you guys my final thoughts. All right, I am back. It's been about a week later. You could tell the hair maybe a little bit longer. Just kidding. Part two of the Play Vital. Looked at the silicone cover and I looked at the rings. First of all, the silicone cover is awesome. I am never taking it off. I love it. I highly recommend that. Hands down, it's going to just feel so good in your hands. It's soft. It's got it keeps the controller nice. You put it with those rings on it, that controller will never ever get damaged. It will never get dirty. It will really keep your product safe forever. So total win for me on that. The rings are the one that I was really, really interested in, and I played with these pretty extensively. So as I mentioned a minute ago, how the rings work, you put them on your control stick. There's different sizes with different tensions, and the best way I could describe them after playing with them over the last week or so, it's almost like training wheels. I don't know if it's something you're going to leave on your controller forever. I can't imagine. I can imagine a world in which you do, but I don't think for me they're something that I would use all the time. They do help with muscle memory though, and that was something that I was very interested in. That's why I kind of relate them almost to like a training device, because of how, as I mentioned, part one, with how mouse sensitivity, or I call it mouse acceleration, I guess technically, because of how that works. These controller rings will absolutely dampen that. You will absolutely feel significant resistance, and because of the way these are made, and because they're uniformly designed as a ring, the tension on them is universal. Most people have a tendency to push harder going up and down vertically than they do left and right, just based on the nature of how a controller is being held. You have more power with your thumbs pushing up than you do kind of spreading or retracting with your thumbs. I say all this because with a ring like this, it's going to force you to learn to put the same resistance on any direction of your hands. And if you don't believe me about the tension, give a controller to your mom or your wife or your boy, whoever, who isn't a gamer, and watch what they do when they move around. 9 times out of 10, they start swirling, of course, but they always almost instantly look directly up, like in a first-person shooter, or directly down, almost instantly. And it's because of what I said. It's because of how you're forced to push up. You just know that this motion is it's easier to do. A product like this will prevent you from doing that in a first-person shooter. It will. It will teach you that because of the way the resistances are, you're not going to be able to push as hard as you can. That will make you a better player, no doubt about it. If you're one of these guys who really likes performance sniping, really I think of a first-person shooter where you're looking at a target way down range where just the smallest amount of movement in your controller will directly change your firing shot, especially if there's bullet drop in a game like Battlefield or whatever. Absolutely, with these, it will help. I think once you get to the point that you understand that mechanic, which it's going to take a while. Now, I'm not going to sit here on my high horse and tell you guys, well, whatever. I'm not the best shot. I've been very clear on that. I've been playing video games now for over 33 years. I kind of figured it out. I kind of get it. But other people who are newer to gaming or people who are trying to get into a new genre are definitely going to appreciate this. So on that reason alone, I would recommend these with the caveat that you most likely won't use them forever. But because there are different rings, and because there are ones like this one here that is basically just a sponge, you could probably see how easy I'm squishing it, launching it across my desk. Because it's just basically, oh dear. Well, I have a spare, don't worry. I'll find that one later. Because it's so mushy, right? This is something that you probably could leave on your controller forever, and it does provide a little bit of resistance. When you start getting into like this one here, this the darker color one here, this is tight. This is like a really heavy duty piece of foam. I don't know if you're going to want to keep that on your controller forever. I don't think you are. But I think putting it on, because it's so easy to pop on and off, it takes seconds and it's on. I think it's a good training device, and I like it for that. And I gotta say, when I was looking at this, and when Play Vital contacted me and said, "Hey, are you interested in looking at our product?" When I was thinking to myself, I was like, I guess I don't really know how to review this because it doesn't seem like something that I would have picked up. But I gotta give them credit. There's nothing like that exists. This is definitely a different piece of tech. And as simple as it sounds, it's very effective. It really is. And I think that's interesting. I am glad that there is a space out here now for this kind of thing. And I'm glad that we are starting to see other companies kind of embrace the fact that a controller really does have more to it than just what a company sells you. You're starting to see different sorts of grips and different types of thumbsticks and extenders and rings, and you're making it your own in such a personal way that you never could before. So I applaud them for that. I think that's great. Give us more customization. And it's not permanent. It doesn't void your warranty. It doesn't impede you from playing any game. It's not any kind of cheat or anything. So yeah, I think I'd have to say, if you're interested in this, it's not that expensive. Give it a try. I think you might be surprised with the results, especially if you're somebody like me who isn't the best at sniping but wants to be. And with that, I am going to close out this video. As I said before, I'll say again, a link to all this will be in the description box below. I encourage you guys to check it out on your own. Make your own opinion. This is just one man's opinion. If you have any questions or comments about these products, sound off below. I'll do my best to answer. That's it for me today. Thanks again so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.